Have you ever felt like something is holding you back, but you can't quite put your finger on what it is? What if I told you that the biggest obstacles in your life aren't external, they're internal? What if the fears you don't even realize you have are silently controlling your decisions, your actions, and ultimately your destiny? Today, we're diving deep into the 7 fears that most people don't even realize are controlling them. These fears are often invisible, lurking in the shadows of your mind, shaping your life in ways you might not even notice. But here's the good news. Once you become aware of them, you can take back control. This video isn't just about identifying these fears, it's about understanding them, confronting them, and ultimately overcoming them. By the end of this video, you'll walk away with a clearer understanding of how your mind works and how you can break free from the invisible chains that have been holding you back. So, let's get started. This journey isn't just about self-awareness, it's about empowerment. It's about reclaiming your life and stepping into the best version of yourself. Are you ready? Section 1. The fear of failure. The first fear we're going to explore is the fear of failure. This is one of the most common fears, yet it's also one of the most misunderstood. At its core, the fear of failure isn't just about failing at a task or a goal. It's about what that failure represents. It's about the fear of being judged, the fear of not being good enough, and the fear of losing your sense of self-worth. But here's the thing. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's a part of it. Every successful person you admire has failed countless times. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't the absence of failure. It's the ability to learn from it and keep going. The fear of failure often paralyzes us, keeping us stuck in our comfort zones. But what if you could reframe failure as feedback? What if every setback was just a stepping stone on your path to success? The fear of failure is rooted in our need for certainty and control. We want to know that our efforts will pay off, that we'll achieve our goals, and that we'll be recognized for our achievements. But life is inherently uncertain, and the only way to truly grow is to embrace that uncertainty. When you let go of the fear of failure, you open yourself up to new possibilities, new experiences, and new levels of success. Section 2. The fear of rejection. Next, let's talk about the fear of rejection. This fear is deeply tied to our need for connection and belonging. From an evolutionary perspective, being rejected by our tribe could mean death, so it's no wonder that this fear is so deeply ingrained in us. But in today's world, the fear of rejection often manifests in ways that limit our potential. We avoid asking for what we want, we shy away from opportunities, and we suppress our true selves, all because we're afraid of being rejected. But here's the truth. Rejection is not a reflection of your worth. It's simply a mismatch of expectations, values, or circumstances. When you internalize this, you can start to see rejection not as a personal attack, but as a natural part of life. The fear of rejection often keeps us from taking risks and pursuing our dreams. But what if you could reframe rejection as redirection? What if every no was just leading you closer to the right yes? When you stop fearing rejection, you start living more authentically, and that's when the magic happens. Section 3. The fear of uncertainty. The third fear we're going to explore is the fear of uncertainty. This fear is rooted in our desire for control and predictability. We want to know what's going to happen next, and when we don't, it can feel incredibly unsettling. But here's the thing. Life is inherently uncertain. No matter how much you plan, no matter how much you try to control the outcome, there will always be elements that are beyond your control. The fear of uncertainty often leads to anxiety, procrastination, and indecision. We get so caught up in trying to predict the future that we forget to live in the present. But what if you could embrace uncertainty as a natural part of life? What if you could see it not as a threat, but as an opportunity for growth? When you let go of the need for certainty, you open yourself up to new experiences, new opportunities, and new levels of creativity. You start to trust yourself more, knowing that no matter what happens, you have the resilience and the resourcefulness to handle it. Section 4. The fear of change. The fourth fear we're going to tackle is the fear of change. Change is inevitable, yet so many of us resist it. We cling to the familiar, even when it's no longer serving us, because the unknown feels scary. But here's the truth. Change is not something to be feared. It's something to be embraced. The fear of change often stems from a fear of the unknown. We worry about what might happen if we step out of our comfort zones, if we try something new, if we take a different path. But what if you could see change as an opportunity for growth? What if you could view it not as a threat, but as a chance to create a better, more fulfilling life? When you embrace change, you open yourself up to new possibilities. You start to see life as a journey, not a destination. And you realize that the only constant in life is change itself. So why not embrace it rather than resist it? Section 5. The fear of success. Now let's talk about a fear that often goes unnoticed. The fear of success. This might sound counterintuitive. After all, who wouldn't want to be successful? But the truth is, success can be just as scary as failure. With success comes responsibility, expectations, and the fear of losing what you've gained. The fear of success often manifests as self-sabotage. We get close to achieving our goals, and then we pull back. We procrastinate, we make excuses, we find ways to avoid taking the final step. But why? Because success changes things. It changes how people see us, how we see ourselves, and the expectations we have for our lives. But here's the thing. Success is not something to be feared. It's something to be embraced. When you let go of the fear of success, you open yourself up to new levels of achievement, fulfillment, and happiness. You start to see success not as a burden, but as a gift. Section 6. The fear of being judged. The sixth fear we're going to explore is the fear of being judged. This fear is deeply tied to our need for approval and validation. We want to be liked, we want to be accepted, and we want to fit in. But here's the truth. You can't control what other people think of you. No matter what you do, there will always be someone who judges you, criticizes you, or disagrees with you. The fear of being judged often leads us to suppress our true selves. We hide our opinions, we downplay our achievements, and we avoid taking risks. All because we're afraid of what others might think. But what if you could let go of that fear? What if you could live your life authentically, without worrying about the opinions of others? When you stop fearing judgment, you start living more freely, you start expressing yourself more fully, and you start attracting people who appreciate you for who you truly are. And that's when you'll find true happiness and fulfillment. Section 7. The fear of not being enough. Finally, let's talk about the fear of not being enough. This is perhaps the most insidious fear of all, because it's so deeply rooted in our sense of self-worth. We worry that we're not smart enough, not talented enough, not good enough. But here's the truth. You are enough. You always have been, and you always will be. The fear of not being enough often leads to perfectionism, self-doubt, and burnout. We push ourselves to be better, to do more, to achieve more, all in an effort to prove our worth. But the truth is, your worth is not something you need to prove. It's something you need to recognize. When you let go of the fear of not being enough, you start to see yourself in a new light. You start to appreciate your strengths, your talents, and your unique qualities, and you realize that you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be yourself. Conclusion. So, there you have it. The 7 fears you don't even realize are controlling you. These fears are powerful, but they're not invincible. Once you become aware of them, you can start to take back control. You can start to live your life with more courage, more confidence, and more authenticity. Remember, fear is not your enemy. It's your teacher. It's there to show you where you need to grow, where you need to push yourself, and where you need to let go. When you face your fears head-on, you unlock a new level of potential. You start to see life not as something to be feared, but as something to be embraced. So, I want to leave you with this. Don't let fear control your life. Don't let it hold you back from pursuing your dreams, from living authentically, from being the best version of yourself. You have the power to overcome these fears, and when you do, you'll find that the world is full of endless possibilities. Thank you for watching, and remember, the only thing standing between you and your dreams is fear. So, what are you going to do about it?